Hi, I'm Keith Sweeney, principal of Byzantsky Elementary School, and I'm here to announce the staff members of the year. Deborah Strickland is our Teacher of the Year. Ms. Strickland is a dedicated professional who consistently seeks ways to improve her craft and her relationships with students. She serves the school and the district in a variety of leadership roles and is always willing to support her colleagues. She is patient and understanding with her students and always works toward helping them to achieve. Julia Wolfram is our Educational Services Provider of the Year. Ms. Wolfram is dedicated to her role as speech therapist, as demonstrated through the respect and rapport she develops with the students she serves. She has a deep understanding of their academic and developmental needs and willingly contributes to their growth. Ms. Wolfram consistently demonstrates her kind and caring nature in her advocacy for the children she serves. Paula Faber is our Support Staff Member of the Year. Ms. Faber serves our school as an educational assistant in one of our self-contained classes. Her colleagues consistently notice her nurturing approach with all students, not only the ones assigned to her class. Her warm demeanor and caring approach are assets to our school community.
Congratulations to this year's Staff Members of the Year. My name is Brett Thorpe and I'm the principal at Denbo Crichton Elementary School. It is my pleasure to share with you the Denbo Crichton Staff Members of the Year. Ms. Chantel Joseph, Teacher of the Year, is a kindergarten in-class resource teacher. Her nurturing and patient disposition helps foster a learning environment in which our youngest learners thrive. Ms. Joseph is resourceful and always willing to help her colleagues and her school community. Ms. Shannon Horton. Ms. Horton is our school nurse and is our Educational Services Professional of the Year. Ms. Horton provides thorough care to all students and staff members, keeps meticulous notes on each health visit, and communicates effectively with our school community. Furthermore, she advocates for all students and families by bringing health services to our school and promoting events such as Dental Health Month. Mr. Anthony Masella is our Support Staff Member of the Year and is a security guard at Denbo Crichton. Whether he's outside directing traffic or inside at the main entrance, Mr. Masella greets our school community with a warm smile. Mr. Masella is a detail-oriented and focused on the safety of all students, staff, and visitors. Congratulations.
Hello, I'm John Schmidt, principal of the Emmons School, and it's my pleasure to introduce our Staff Members of the Year. Jacqueline Fashina is our Teacher of the Year. She's a first grade teacher, and she works professionally with all staff members and treats students with dignity and respect. She is dedicated to making sure that her students have all of the resources they require to be successful in her classroom. Mrs. Fashina keeps parents well informed about their child's academic strengths and areas in need of improvement, as well as their behavioral and social progress. Krista Scarabaggio is our Educational Services Professional of the Year. Mrs. Scarabaggio, our guidance counselor, is fully dedicated to meeting the social, emotional, and behavioral needs of the students. She helps students enhance and enrich the wide range of knowledge they already have when working with them individually and in small groups. Mrs. Scarabaggio always interacts with everyone in a professional manner, continually striving to build positive rapport and relationships, and is committed to the core values of the school. Rebecca Haynes is our Support Staff Member of the Year. Ms. Haynes, our school secretary, is extremely helpful and supportive when assisting teachers, staff, students, and parents with a wide variety of issues every day. She never hesitates to complete all tasks in a timely manner and always does this with precision. Ms. Haynes is committed to working with professionalism in the efficient and effective daily operation of the school. Emmons is a better place because of all her diligent efforts.
Hello, I am Darvis Holly, the proud principal here at Fort Dix Elementary School, and I am here today to announce our Staff of the Year recipients. First, I would like to announce our Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Sophia Ard. Mrs. Ard has been a dedicated educator in Pemberton Township Schools for well over 20 years. Her colleagues describe her as being devoted, nurturing, and encouraging. Mrs. Ard is also passionate about interscholastic sports as she coaches all 3 track seasons at Pemberton Township High School. In the process, she has helped several student athletes realize their college dreams. Mrs. Ard is an asset to the Fort Dix Elementary School learning community. Next, I would like to announce our Educational Services Professional Staff Member of the Year, Mrs. Amy Durkin. Mrs. Durkin has been in her second year of her new role as an academic mastery teacher here at Fort Dix Elementary School, but has previously taught at the elementary level for several years prior. She is truly an advocate for her students, often going above and beyond to provide them with the best services that she can. Mrs. Durkin is nothing short of exceptional and is a team player that is reliable, focused, and approachable. Last but not least, I would like to announce our support staff of the year, Mr. Robert Hopkins. Mr. Hopkins is the heart and soul of our building. He often works long hours to make sure that our building is clean and safe for all of our students. Whether it's shoveling snow or setting up chairs for an assembly, no task is too much to ask of Mr. Hopkins. He is respected by the entire staff for his commitment, and we are happy to have him as a part of our Fort Dix family.
Hello, I am Tammy Streggy, principal of Helen Fort Middle School. It is my privilege to introduce to you our 2022-23 Employees of the Year. 8th grade math teacher Stacy Conyer is passionate about her teaching, reaching her students, and advocating for change. An enthusiastic educator, Mrs. Conyer inspires other staff members to be the same way. Her colleagues revel in the fact that she puts everything into being a wonderful role model for our students. Mrs. Conyer cares so much about our community, and it shows. She participates even in the summers in our book study and always seeks to get better and be better to support her students. Nicole Bjorn, our educational services professional, has made our nurse's office a wonderful place to visit. She is so great with our students and helpful to our teachers. Mrs. Bjorn has been described as a ray of sunshine, and she helps our students feel comfortable and welcomed into the office every single day. Mrs. Bjorn's gift is knowing when to be comforting and when to give tough love, all with a smile on her face. Lead school security guard Gerald Davis, our support staff member of the year, helps to keep this school afloat with his calm, trustworthy, and always helpful demeanor. He instills a feeling of trust and serenity, and he always talks to the students in a positive, constructive tone. A strong and supportive presence for our students every day, Mr. Davis ensures that students are safe while also maintaining positive relationships with them. Moreover, Mr. Davis loves all of these students and wants nothing but to keep them safe. He cares for them like they are his own.
Hi, I'm Ashley Walulak, principal at Nuka Middle School, and it is my honor to announce our Educators of the Year for Nuka Middle School. Ms. Swift regularly demonstrates leadership and innovation inside and outside of the classroom. She has attended student games after school and on the weekend to show her support to her students. Ms. Swift advises the Circle of Friends Club to encourage our entire population of students to get involved in after-school activities. She also serves as the advisor of the Art Club and is co-advisor for Anchored for Life at Nuka Middle School. Ms. Finnegan has been willing to get involved and lend a helping hand from the moment she arrived at Nuka Middle School. She is truly a warm demander and focuses on building relationships and encouraging productive struggle for her students. She works closely with colleagues and all students in our building to help gather data about academic proficiency and academic growth. Mrs. Gallegos goes above and beyond for both students and staff. She is a team player and is always willing to lend a helping hand, hold a hand, or give a hug to those in need. Mrs. Gallegos comes to work early with a smile on her face every single day. She makes sure our kids are cared for and is an extra eye in making sure each student is welcomed coming off the bus or van each morning.
Hello, my name is Jermaine Blunt, principal here at Pemberton Township High School. I'm here to introduce to you our Staff of the Year winners. Ms. McCartney is hardworking, dedicated, caring, and invested in the lives of students, staff, and the community. As the leader of the medical arts community, she works extremely hard, guiding the future of many students. Ms. McCartney is an integral part of the Character Education Committee and school leadership team, planning events that benefit all students in the school. Ms. Hauser is extremely dedicated to her students. as well as her department and school community. She goes out of her way to meet the needs of her students and continually comes up with new and innovative approaches to best support her students. As an integral part of the Character Education Committee, as well as the INRS team, Ms. Hauser supports the entire community at large. Ms. Kozinski goes above and beyond to help guide and support parents, students, and colleagues. She is always caring and professional in person as well as on the phone. Her willingness to volunteer and help with school functions is always noted and appreciated. The district is fortunate to have such a reliable and dedicated staff member to count on.
Hi, I'm Norm Adams, the principal of the Pemberton Early Childhood Education Center, and I am honored to introduce the recipients of the 2022-2023 Staff of the Year. Our Teacher of the Year is Wendy Danter. Mrs. Danter is friendly, patient, respectful, and an excellent communicator. She establishes a sense of trust with her students, which allows them to feel comfortable in their learning space. She also has a very charitable spirit, having worked with a colleague to bring the Alex's Lemonade Stand fundraiser to our school some years ago, in memory of a former student who passed away from childhood cancer. Our Educational Services Professional of the Year is Teresa Hill. Mrs. Hill is a creative and relevant speech therapist who continues to learn and improve her craft each year. She is dedicated to meeting the individual and unique needs of every student she services by creating custom materials for each child. Mrs. Hill goes above and beyond to connect with each teacher she works with and provides support in the way of suggestions, materials, and professional development opportunities. Our Support Staff of the Year is Sharon Spencer. Mrs. Spencer is a dedicated, hardworking, and essential member of our support team. As a classroom aide, she provides each child with a secure base to explore when they enter the classroom. She supports her teacher in creating a safe and loving environment for her students in which to learn. Mrs. Spencer embodies the patience, skills, and dedication that every teacher wants in an assistant. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Robin Blue. I'm the principal at Stackhouse Elementary School, and I'm here to introduce our Staff of the Year winners. Mrs. Fisher cares deeply about each one of her students and understands their social, behavioral, and academic needs. She is dedicated and is always willing to help her students and all students around the school. Mrs. Fisher develops a meaningful relationship with each of her students and provides an exceptional educational experience. Mrs. Gibson goes above and beyond each day to help the students and staff at Stackhouse. Many students can attribute their reading and writing success to working with Mrs. Gibson. Mrs. Gibson also conducts monthly family science nights and family literacy nights to enrich and connect with our families. Mrs. Rocco's calm and friendly demeanor makes everyone feel safe at Stackhouse. She greets students every morning with a smile, high five, or hug. She knows all of the students by name. Mrs. Rocco is also very helpful at PTO events. She goes above and beyond to ensure all are safe and welcome at Stackhouse School.
Hi, I'm Jeff Havers, Superintendent, and I'm pleased to announce the Brotherhood Staff Member of the Year, Donna Madera. Mrs. Madera is a pleasure to work with and is always seeking ways to support our learning community. She's extremely organized, takes great pride in representing Pemberton, and excels at remaining calm under pressure. She is phenomenal at listening to parent concerns and always responds with accurate information and/or resolutions. She is a dedicated, positive, and genuine person who enjoys helping others. Congratulations and thank you, Mrs. Madera.
Hi, I'm Scott Crisanda, Director of Facilities for Pemberton Township Schools. I'm proud to announce the Support Staff Member of the Year. Mr. Gwynn sets an example by demonstrating a high level of dependability and resourcefulness. Despite the hour of day, he is readily available and present to serve our staff and students. He is most appreciated for his work ethic and his self-accountability. Facilities work can be demanding, and Mr. Gwynn dutifully performs all functions of his maintenance position regardless of how challenging the circumstances may be.
Hi, I'm Barbara Wells, Supervisor of Food Service at Pemberton Township Schools. I'm here to introduce Lori Cavanaugh, who is the Support Staff of the Year. Ms. Cavanaugh is a conscientious employee who cares deeply about her work. Whether in Spanish or English, she is polite, respectful, and considerate when helping others. She volunteers to work in the kitchens when staff are absent and substitutes are not available. She models appropriate behavior for others and is an active member of the Pemberton community, as she's always ready to lend a hand or provide a meal when needed.
Hi, I'm Ed Treadaway, Transportation Supervisor for Pemberton Township Public Schools. I'm here to introduce our Staff of the Year, Grace Brantley. Ms. Brantley has been a dedicated bus driver since 2014. Given the local and state and national shortage of bus drivers, Grace has been asked many times to cover extra runs, and she never disappoints. Her response is, "Yes, I can do that." Grace is calm and shows endless patience no matter what kind of day she's having. She is respected by her students, her bus aides, her fellow drivers, and this transportation office.